let's take a look at the numbers for Andhra Pradesh. It is one of the most troubled states in the recent past. Congress administration in Andhra Pradesh has been messy, and well, the TDP and YSRCP is believed to be the biggest gainers from this mess that has come up from the bifurcation of the state. But how will it affect the poll prospects? What do the numbers look like? My colleague Akshata takes us through all of it. Well, Akshata, over to you.
Well, Nishita, Andhra Pradesh is one of those battles that I personally will be closely watching. It's going to be very interesting considering the whole Seemandhra-Telangana equation. But taking a look, of course, at the history, of course, 2009 will not have much to speak about with regard to this year as well. But looking at it once again, YSRCP will be the top parties, one of the top parties to contest in the elections this time around. Last time in 2009, they were not even formed, so they didn't contest. TRS didn't contest either. So the Congress there did reign supreme. We did see them perform exceptionally well. But will that be the case this time around? We'll have to wait and see. Come 2014, look at the numbers. There's a drastic change there. And more than anything else, it looks like it will be Jagan Mohan Reddy all the way. Going by what ABP as well as NDTV have to tell us, ABP is giving us a clear show, along with NDTV, of course, that YSRCP will be the leading party this time around. This is keeping in mind all 42 seats in both Seemandhra as well as Telangana. So will this be the case? Will we be actually looking at the Congress facing a humiliating defeat after the decision to go ahead and divide the state? Well, it looks like YSRCP will go ahead and ride high post that wave. We have to also take a look at the others equation in this particular case, Nishita, keeping in mind, of course, that we have parties like the TDP and several others which will be making the most of that particular wave of indifference that we're looking at because of the Seemandhra and Telangana decision. So a lot to watch out for in Andhra politics. We have to also note that it will be the assembly elections side by side. So some sizzling politics at play right there in Andhra Pradesh, and our closest neighbor there, Nishita.
Well, thank you, Akshata, for all those details. Well, there we have it. Jagan Mohan Reddy's YSR Congress seems to be the biggest gainer from the kind of turmoil that Andhra Pradesh has been facing in the last several months in the state of Andhra Pradesh. And, well, my colleague Nolan takes us through what we can expect from the state from our in-house experts, from our very own colleagues who have been closely tracking the political developments in Andhra Pradesh. Well, Nolan, over to you.
Well, Nishita, politics in Andhra Pradesh is very interesting, especially after the bifurcation took place into Telangana and Seemandhra. Now, to talk about this, there's our colleague Arun Sundaram, who is our in-house expert, not just on politics, but on other issues as well. Now, Arun, let's stick to Telangana first. What exactly is the TRS's game plan over there?
Nolan, very simply put, a split can be messy, bad and bitter, and that is what seems to be happening as far as Andhra Pradesh is concerned. Remember, June 2nd, the state gets divided into two parts. Let's just walk through what is happening. Now, if you look at this particular map, you are seeing the united Andhra Pradesh comprising of 42 Lok Sabha seats, 17 of which will go to Telangana and 25 will come to Seemandhra. Now, if you've gone through a recent poll which was done about perception of what they feel about the UPA, nearly 53% of the people who have been polled in from the Telangana region are in favor of the UPA. Why? Because they allowed for the bifurcation of the state. Obviously, 65% of the people who were polled in Seemandhra region are against the UPA because they've seen the state split. In the same survey, you are seeing 36% of the respondents say, yes, we will support the TRS as far as the area of Telangana is concerned. That number is there in Seemandhra. So that sums up what exactly is happening. It is clear at this point of time that when it comes to the new state of Telangana, it's all the way TRS and its leader K. Chandrasekhar Rao. He's got an unbeatable point. He will romp home victorious, Nolan.
Right. Now, Arun, since you mentioned Telangana and Seemandhra over here, can we say that the YSRCP will strike gold in this particular region?
Nolan, this is where the fact that I talked about a little bit earlier, a divorce being messy, bad and bitter, comes into play. Remember, 2004, 2009, two elections, UPA ruling the country for 10 years. Why was that possible? Because of these 42 MPs. 42, 17 plus 25.
Sorry, Telangana and Seemandhra.
That's right, 17 and Telangana, 25 and Seemandhra. 42 of them went all in favor of the Congress It formed the government for 10 long years. That is history now. Now you will see the TRS dictating terms and conditions. As far as Seemandhra is concerned, it's a very, very pathetic story. You are seeing literally the Congress being pushed into the Bay of Bengal. It will not find itself getting its feet wet as far as Seemandhra is concerned, because there is one colossal element called Jagan Reddy. He and his YSR Congress will romp home successful, Nolan.
Now, what's the role Pawan Kalyan will play now? And in which part of Andhra Pradesh?
It is believed that he will have an influence as far as Seemandhra is concerned. We are also given to believe that BJP has started late night discussions with Pawan Kalyan. Remember, he's floated a regional outfit called Janasena. It is given to believe, it's all a matter of conjecture and assumptions. We are given to believe that both the TDP and the BJP seem to be talking to Pawan Kalyan's Janasena, probably seeking their support to form the next government as far as Seemandhra is concerned. Because at this point of time, YSR Congress is lording over Seemandhra. Some polls indicated that of the 175 assembly seats as far as Seemandhra is concerned, Jagan's YSR Congress will romp home with about 137 to 140. That's a huge number. Now recently you are coming across opinion polls suggesting that the number could fall below 100. That is where probably, let me underline the word probably, the BJP plus TDP plus Janasena, if it wins any number of seats, could prove to be a kingmaker. But that is more of a hypothetical situation. At this point of time, very clear, this side is lorded over by Jagan Reddy, YSR Congress, this side KCR. Congress not in the picture, it's there in the Bay of Bengal.
Right, Arun, thank you very much for all that. Well, Congress not in the picture, that's what Arun says, it's in the Bay of Bengal. Back to you, Bansi.
Well, these are what our in-house experts are saying. Let's find out what the experts in our studio are saying. Well, first let me start with you. If you look at, let's start with you, Ms. Sandhya. Well, if you look at the Andhra, the erstwhile Andhra, it is of course a smaller Andhra we're talking of, and there's Telangana. So, if you look at these numbers, how do you really respond to these numbers?
I think in this particular case, nobody is going to quibble over who's going to get the majority. YSR Congress is going to get the majority. So that may very well hold good for them to form the government in the state. But what will happen in the center? Obviously, they're going to rely on post-poll tie-ups. Even if they have refused to tie up now, it's a game of politics that they are going to tie up later. And probably Congress will then seek to lean on them because of old association and because they were the ones who anyway grudgingly or willingly they allowed the Seemandhra to be formed. So they're going to benefit in that way, I feel.
Okay, Mr. Chakravarti.
No. The person on the screen who was giving the numbers is true, because
That's my colleague Arun Sundaram.
Arun Sundaram. Congress had a full, complete command and hold over the entire thing. Now it is terribly, and then
It's very
such
messy for the
a
Congress.
political
in both areas.
I feel strong sympathy for Congress in Andhra, because BJP had not a single seat there, and then even today, it's not that alliance is not complete. Venkaiah Naidu was threatening that if we don't come out with the alliance in 2 days, but the division of that, the Congress has given a political hierarchy, sacrifice, I think for a long-term benefit or whatever, but the immediate test is now in the election. If the Congress does so badly, then no wonder it is reflected on the national tally of Congress. And then BJP, if it really makes an entry, I think it is the first time it's coming to the parliament in the entire south. Okay, if the BJP makes the seat and along with this much, then you can believe the opinion poll number that they are going to get that much.
Does it look encouraging for NDA and its allies in Andhra, or if you look at just the BJP?
No, it could be encouraging to NDA if you consider the fact that Chandrababu Naidu was once a partner of
TDP
NDA, and he, even though now he is playing hardball and he is refusing to yield to the pressures or demands of BJP, he might still go ahead with them or align with them after the post-poll. So to that extent, it will be beneficial to them. The real tragedy is for the Congress, because they have conceded the demand of Telangana, and in Telangana they are not really benefiting. In Seemandhra they have completely lost. So and they don't have allies also in either of the two states. So which is a major setback for the Congress, and considering the Andhra Pradesh was one of the major bulwark for the Congress.
For years and years.
Yes.
For years and years, Congress looked to Andhra for all its national strength.
Now, what is now BJP might suffer is from the overkill. You see, if you put a marriage pandal 1 year in advance, people will lose interest. They started a campaign with a 250 crore, according to Kejriwal, 250 crore budget. Appoint an agency, keep on feeding in news channels and other information that marriage is so and so, marriage is so and so. In June, when it is not even announced. Now, the groom himself has lost interest and said, I'm going to marry in somewhere else. See, now the people might lose interest by the time of April 17th or May, whatever the date. They find that no, there's no interest in marriage, and then that is a weakening point. And then all this.
Do you see all that happening in the NDA?
It's happening. It's not getting to the opinion polls. It's getting into the people's psyche, because they're tired of looking at the face and the overkill of the publicity, because you pump in so much money. That is not accountable, because its election was not announced. So all those money was free. Congress started later. That's a different issue, but the overkill will affect them. And then
in Andhra, the overkill will affect them? They had negligible presence, if
there is no presence even now.
Absolutely.
Except this, because Advani's fears when Modi was made the Prime Minister candidate, is that he will take the party away. Like Yediyurappa he did in Karnataka. There is nothing to do with BJP. So Yediyurappa's party, and then it did not help BJP. The same thing is happening for Modi. It's not helping BJP. And then those who don't like him may not be agreeable to partner of NDA also. Okay. After the results come, no, we don't want anything to do with you. Depends on the number.
Okay. Quickly.
I think the story of Andhra Pradesh is really the story of Chandrababu Naidu this election. A man who had been written off, we had all thought he was going into political oblivion, had no future, comes bouncing back. And even if he manages to get 5 or 6 seats into parliament, I think it's a remarkable achievement. For someone who's bided his time, he's been waiting in the wings.
For 10 years.
Yeah, and he's a former chief minister. Remember the time when everyone said that this is the answer that Andhra Pradesh was looking for. He was supposed to be Andhra Pradesh's poster boy, and that man suddenly disappears from the face of Andhra politics in any significant shape or form. And this election is bouncing back. So if you see, it's really a story of Chandrababu Naidu in Andhra Pradesh. Of course, the loss for Congress is a known thing. And
23 seats.
To who?
YSR.
That's YSR Congress. But I'm talking about Chandrababu Naidu. TDP, yes. So TDP. So, this year I think it's the story of TDP. Which
TDP
is
figures in the others.
Again, if you see, again in the context of the kind of confidence that the BJP has been exuding, look at who they are trying to shake hands with. Players who are going to get in 2 seats, 3 seats, 1 seat. Like Ramvilas Paswan. Okay. Like MDMK. Now Chandrababu Naidu. So none of the kingmakers, which is a Jagan Reddy here or probably a Mamta Banerjee in Bengal, etc. Look at them. None of them are actually even stretching their hand out in any direction. Because Not yet. Not now. Possibly not even later, depending on how the numbers.
Once the results start pouring in, you'll never know which way they.
Yeah. Obviously, they're all waiting because these political parties don't cut 2 ways; they cut 3 ways. They could do UPA, NDA, or a front of their own.
Absolutely.
Right.
Who some people call an upfront.
Ashwati, before we come towards the end of the discussion over Andhra Pradesh's figures, it seems like there is no favourable feeling towards the Congress even in the Telangana region.
The Congress has actually become the fall guy over the Telangana issue.
Which is ironic.
Because in Telangana itself, it's TRS and a little bit of Congress. In Seema Andhra, it's Jagan Reddy all the way. Therefore, the question that the Congress needs to ask itself is, if they had, and this is really not my original thought. This was a question that somebody once raised in a particular discussion, was that after Mrs. Gandhi's assassination, if Rajiv Gandhi, with no political experience, could take over the mantle, why could Jagan Reddy not be given the same consideration after YSR's death? That might well have changed the face of or the fate of Congress in Andhra Pradesh. Divided Andhra, same Andhra, whatever it is. But you know, in hindsight, we can ask several questions. We never really know what is potentially likely to happen.
Right. In fact,